This is Python's Paradise. This is your host, Greg Gilbert, aka the Python Hyena, straight out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, Canada, but rocking a beautiful Toronto background behind me because to me, I consider that my true home, folks. But here we are on April the 2nd, 2024, just after the long Easter weekend. And folks, I have a guest on the show that I've been waiting to interview for a long time. You see, we all know that Robert Downey Jr. is famous for playing Sherlock Holmes. But I sense that he got his inspiration from a real disguise expert, somebody that only needed a mustache to fool everybody. She played Mr. Prostitute in Yellowbeard. She's also in 48 Hours, My Blue Heaven, and all kinds of nifty, cool movies. Folks, I give you the absolutely beautiful and stunning and very classy Greta Blackburn. How do you do, Greta?
Yay, I do well. I'm looking at the numerology of today. It's 422024. There has to be something in that. I don't know what it is, but I like the sound of it. 422024. It's kind of cool.
Maybe it has something to do with you.
It does. It's the universe is saying this is the perfect day for us to do our interview. Yay!
And a special shout out to Tommy Kovac who connected us, and I'm so happy that this was able to happen because I had an uncle that owned a video store from 1981 to 1988, and Yellowbeard was one of those movies we grew up with. So I was very familiar with you.
Well, that movie had, at that time, it had every comic person, actor on the planet. I mean, everybody was in it. It was a huge cast, and every day somebody new was coming in. Bowie's coming in, Jagger's coming in to meet with Bowie. There's a party with so and so. I mean, it was crazy. It was like, it was that set during that period of time was the place to be for anyone who was involved in Hollywood. Everybody wanted to come on the set, they wanted to hang out. It was a big deal. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Well, before we get into that, I want to get some of your background because I read something about you and doing some research on you. I know you're still doing modeling, but I heard that it was one of those situations you were just spotted walking down the street and somebody wanted to represent you. Is that the story how you got into modeling?
Well, it's a piece of the story because the point of that story, and it's a true story, is that I'm from Indiana. I'm from the Midwest. So one day I'm this tall, skinny, kind of geeky kid in Indiana that in Indiana in those days, if you weren't short and really chunky and voluptuous, you were a geek. So I'm this tall, skinny geek one day, and then the next day I'm in New York going to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and I'm tall and thin, and suddenly it's not geeky. It's what everybody wanted to have as a model with their agency. So I went from being kind of, I'm not going to say I'm popular, but I was like a weirdo. I played the violin. I was in the theater group. I wasn't a cheerleader. I wasn't all those things that everybody wanted to be in Indiana at that time. And then literally in one fell swoop, I land in New York and everybody's like, oh, we want you to be, here's my card. You should be with my agency. You should be a model. You should be a model. So yeah, that's pretty much the story.
Well, you know what? You're talented in a lot of different areas, but you also were in some notable films too. I had Mel Damsky, the director of Yellowbeard, on here the other day, and just at the end of March, and he was talking about the fact that he got the Canadian accent, which I never get, but I suppose I'm starting to get used to it now. But he was saying he did 8 seasons of Psych up here, so he said he feels like he's part Canadian. But he said if a certain person gets into power, he's moving back and moving to Canada. And I'm like, you just want to come here for Tim Hortons coffee, don't you? And he says, yeah, that's the real reason.
No doubt. Yes, yes. The thing about people that say they're moving if somebody gets in office is they just never do it. So it's like, I'd love to see somebody actually do that and make good on their promise, but they never do because then they get comfy again and they like being in the US and all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, I've heard that, and it's funny when Trump was in office, people complain. Biden's in office, people complain. You can't make people happy. We at least might have a silver lining with Pierre Poilievre. Oh, we gotta look at
Yes.
this. I know on
Oh,
Yellowbeard it was a crocodile they tried to sneak on board the ship, but here's my pet. I know parrots preferred, but Skittles
yeah.
says he can pretend to be a parrot.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Put some feathers on and good to go. Okay, it looks like you're wearing a hospital wristband. Did you just get released from a psych ward somewhere?
Actually, I just had a retina operation at the end of January.
See? And you're still
Yep.
wearing it?
I, I'm supposed to keep it on until the gas bubble disappears.
Okay.
Like I can see you on that screen, but I still got a little tiny gas bubble.
Okay.
January 10th, I was working and there was like little spots going in front of my eyes. So I went to the eye doctor and he said it just comes with age. And I'm like, okay. Then on the 20th, exactly 10 days later, I was working and there was like a shade that covered about 80% of my vision.
Ooh.
And so they said that I need to get this operated on. So
All
I
right.
went, it was January 30th. And so they said it should be disappeared before I fly anyway, for New Jersey for Chiller.
Ah, okay.
But nonetheless, yeah, it's still there, but it's getting better. Like if I close this eye, I can see you. Not clearly. I can see your hands just went up like that,
Okay.
and I could see
Okay.
your hat and your face. It's just all hazy.
Okay.
A month ago, I couldn't. So
Okay, good. All right. Well, I noticed the wristband and I always have to make a snarky comment. So there, I did it.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. My brother had to take me down because I wasn't allowed to drive. So yeah, but another reason why I would prefer to live in Toronto as opposed to New Brunswick. It's a shame I can't just get that stuff done here in this province. We have to go
Yes.
to Halifax to do it. So,
Mhm.
whereas in Toronto, I could have done it right there. So,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
not a very progressive province here, but nonetheless, while we're talking about Yellowbeard, yeah, tremendous cast in that movie. Talk about I just love it when you're introduced as Mr. Prostitute and for discipline, and one of the fellas you don't really see him do much disciplining, but you do see Kenneth Mars get into action. um, but nonetheless, all you have is this little mustache on,
That's it.
and I'm sitting there thinking, wow, yeah, she's fooling everybody. Talk about being
Well,
cast.
and of course the name didn't give anything away or anything, it's like it wasn't like John Boy the Sailor, it was Mr. Prostitute. So the whole thing, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, it's such a funny role, and but Mel Damsky said he enjoyed making the movie, but he said he had a lot of difficulties working with the pythons in it, you know?
Okay, well,
Yep.
that doesn't surprise me. I don't have a vivid memory of that, but that is not a surprise, is it? Pythons tend to be a little difficult to work with.
Well, they were only allowed to have three of the pythons, so Terry Jones, Terry Gilliam, and Michael Palin had to set this one out. Um, he said Eric Idle wasn't so bad. I didn't get into John Cleese, but John Cleese I've heard quoted as saying he did it as a favor to Graham Chapman. So, okay, it kind of tells me everything. Although him as a blind pew, he really stole every scene he was in, so he wasn't half baking it anyway.
No, he did a great job. He did.
Yeah,
I became friends
Graham,
with Peter
huh?
Boyle out of that movie. Not great, changing subjects from the pythons, Peter and I became friends out of that movie. That was fun.
Peter Boyle, speaking of which, what do I have sitting right here? Oh, there we go. Peter Boyle,
Okay.
the
Yep. Yep. Yep.
monster,
Yes.
young Frankenstein. Yeah, I noticed with this movie, you had members of Monty Python, you had Cheech and Chong, and you had a lot of the Mel Brooks troupe in there.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Mm-hmm.
actually surprised the movie didn't do better than it had done.
It's really strange. I think if it had come out at a different time, I don't know. It had maybe the marketing effort was just crappy. I don't know, because it did have all the elements, and there's certainly way more stupid and ridiculous movies that don't have as much talent in them, that do really well. So it should have been a big hit. I think they just dropped the ball in the marketing, frankly.
He says that the Pythons wouldn't promote it.
Well, so there you go. It's that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, this was I think the brainchild of Graham Chapman, who is no longer with us, and I liked him as Yellowbeard, but uh, I asked Mel. I said, out of the three, was it Graham Chapman who was the most problematic? And he kind of shook his head because I could see it where he was, and I get it. Pythons are so used to doing their own stuff because I mean, the Holy Grail, I think, was
Yes.
directed by Terry Jones and Terry Gilliam, and
Right.
Life of Brian was directed by Terry Jones. I understand that, but at the same token, when you got such a collaboration like this, I'd like go for it. Don't
Yeah.
sabotage it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I do know there's a scene in the movie where you're walking down through and you get grabbed by Yellowbeard. Yellowbeard does this all the time in the movie, apparently. Was that you or a stunt double?
No, that if memory serves, that was me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
that Graham
I fell
Chapman
in
that grabbed you?
yeah, and I
Yeah.
fell in a pig pen at one point. I remember the pig pen. Something or other happened in the pig pen. Anyway, listen, what was interesting about that was the set, the actual ship that we shot it on. I mean, it was really a ship, that wasn't a set. We went on board. So that was interesting and fun. And it was, listen, we were in Zihuatanejo, Ixtapa. So there was a lot of partying going on. It was, like I said, everybody in showbiz was kind of like, hey, are you going down to the Yellowbeard set this weekend? Because it was like, it was notoriously kind of a fun place to be. So,
What were your memories of the Pythons? I know you were only on screen with Graham Chapman, but
um, friendly-ish. It was a close-knit set, but by the same token, I know for me, I would, as soon as I was done shooting, I'd go back to my hotel room. Because I wasn't into the partying and the frolicking about. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I was just really serious, and I was really trying to be taken seriously as an actor. So I was trying to really stay focused on the role and the work and all of that good stuff, as opposed to partying in Mexico, which is what a lot of people were doing. Um, as I recall, there was some Mexican head of state that had a crush on me. He came to the set one day and he was kind of wooing me and wanting to go to dinner every night. And I was also trying to like avoid him, um, because I was just a little nervous about that. So there were different elements going on all across the board on that.
trust me, if you come to Chiller, I won't woo you, but if you want to join Lisa and I for dinner, I'd love it.
Okay, well,
I'm me.
you're gonna
Yeah,
keep me posted as we get closer, so we can discuss.
it'll be my treat.
Yay!
I always treat Lisa. I'm meeting her down there. Actually, Charles Rosenay, who's an author that's gonna be at Chiller, he's been on the show 3 times. We're splitting a room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Hampton is attached straight to it, so we're got a room there, and then the elevator just attaches the two. He says he'd know more than me because I've never been there, but I try to keep close so I can help Lisa if she needs anything, brought down or whatnot. So,
Right, right.
yeah,
Absolutely. Well, you're gonna have fun. It'll be fun. It's those things are a lot of work. People think
they
it's
are.
all fun. It's work. It's a long day and it's work. So be prepared.
Well, I've this will be the fourth convention I've done with Lisa, but my first in the States.
Okay.
So,
Okay,
uh,
you're coming into the real country now. The real country.
yes, absolutely. But I'd be delighted to meet you if I get if you happen to be around. I would love
Okay.
that.
Well,
I'll
it's
bring
close.
this with me.
Okay, yeah, do. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, I'd be delighted. I'm actually excited that you're going to be around there. I'm very excited. Um, but nonetheless, getting back to Yellowbeard, you mentioned you were friends with Peter Boyle. We lost him not long ago, and very underrated actor, I think, you know.
Mm-hmm. Very much,
Yep.
yeah. But underrated outside of the business world. There's certain actors that are just within the business, that they're really good and they're it's kind of just understood that they're really talented, but out in the world, maybe not so much. So I think he's one of those guys. He's just appreciated within the community a lot. Um, but yeah, a good guy. And yeah, we became friends and um it kind of reminds me a little bit because our friendship evolved out of working together. It was kind of like when I did a TV pilot called Roadshow for
Hmm.
NBC way back when with John Candy, and he and I became really good friends because we were on a tour bus traveling the country with two or three other comics, and we just became really good friends. So there are certain friendships you make on set that stand the test of the real world. You go out into the real world and you can still be friends, and you don't just leave the set and forget they ever existed, because that happens too. It's like everything. You go to an event, you'll go to Chiller and you'll make friends, and there'll be some people that you'll remain friends with, and others that a year later you'll have to hunt to remember their name. It's just the nature of community and meeting people. But when it sticks and you kind of maintain the friendship, it's a lot of fun. And
Oh,
John
wow.
Candy was a sweetheart. Just, there's certain people in the world in showbiz, and we were talking about Dabney Coleman before we came on here. Um, there are people in the business who off screen are just not funny at all. I mean, comics in particular, they're just morose and kind of nasty, frankly. And there are comics that are funnier, or at least as funny, if not funnier, off screen, like just in life. Like having dinner with Dabney Coleman, he's funnier than anything he's ever done on camera, and he's been amazing. And John Candy is just super funny, was super funny in real life, so
I heard that about Robin Williams as well.
probably I didn't
Yeah.
know, but I don't that doesn't surprise me. Although he had that sort of depressive comedy, depressive side going, so I'm sure he wasn't always fun and games. I think he was, I mean, we know that he was troubled. Um,
Hmm.
but that goes with the territory of being a comic. And but just some people have a native intelligence that just and a native comedic sense that just carries through in their entire life. They're just that's who they are. That's fun.
I remember when John Candy passed away, very sad. And wow, I've heard great things. Here's one of the stories I often heard about him. And I've heard it by at least two other people that have been in movies with him. They said often when he's on the set of a movie, he'll ask them what their trailer is like, and he'll make sure they had the best trailer
That
on the
sounds like
set.
the kind, yeah, it sounds like the kind of thing. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
heard that by two people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're just good people. It's like any business. There are people that are really genuinely good people in the business, whether it's a lumberjack or a guy that owns a factory or a guy in showbiz. There's just people that are good people, and that's just who
Mhm.
they are. We like
Yeah.
them. We like good people. Yay.
And Dabney Coleman, 9 to 5, and even Young Doctors in Love. He's very funny, but he plays it straight. And I think that's what makes it work so well, with Dabney. And a very underrated movie he did, Short Time, that he
Okay.
did. Oh, he played this police officer who went to a doctor's appointment, and somebody there who was having issues with his eyes switched the reports. And so Dabney believes that he's about to die of cancer or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
so he needs wants to be able to retire so he can put some money towards his kids, but he finds out he has to die in action to do that.
Oh,
So
that's a good
he's
premise.
not knowing that his thing was switched at the hospital, that he's actually okay. He's going through the whole movie, going through these car chases and stuff, trying to get these villains to kill him.
Oh, that's funny.
He
I'm
winds
making
up
note. I have to see him doing that. That's too funny.
he winds up getting the Purple Heart and stuff like that.
Oh, but
Never seen somebody so disappointed to get a high award.
yeah.
He crawls out of this car wreck and he grabs the villain who's half dead. And he goes, "Can't you guys do anything right?"
Well, Dabney is the funniest person on the planet. He is. It's just
Yeah. Well,
really,
you know what? Yeah, I saw that announcement on they said something about his doctor saying that he wasn't able to come or something like that. But I would have loved to have met Dabney Coleman. That's a staple from my younger years, you know. Yeah, 9 to 5 on most. I think that's my favorite film that he did was 9 to 5. You know.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
love it.
he's good in all of them, and the movie
Hmm.
vary, but you can count on him. He's never been, he's a serious actor. He's a neighborhood playhouse in New York. He's a real actor. You know,
He is.
he takes it very, very, very seriously.
War Games, you know, Young
Yeah.
Doctors in Love. I mean, so much stuff. But you get to work with a lot of comedians, and you know, Yellowbeard. Mel Damsky said the most difficult thing he had to do on that set was go around and tell everybody that Marty Feldman had passed away. And he said, and this was his quote, that Marty Feldman was a sweet, sweet man. And I heard similar things said by Mel Brooks about Marty Feldman.
And he was, in my experience. I heard that Marty died. I was actually back in LA by then, and I was at Gold's Gym Venice. I'm pretty sure this is where I heard that they came on the loudspeaker. They turned the news on for a minute, and pretty sure that's where I heard that he had passed away. But that was very, very sad. And yeah, very, very sweet guy.
Yeah. Now I remember, of course, James Mason, like what a talent to have in this movie, you know. I love the first scene you see him in where he's signing people and they're bringing the alligator, what, or a crocodile on board, has this woman inside it. And this one of the guys like kisses him on both sides of the face. He goes, "Don't do that. Don't ever do that again." You know? Um, I mean, this is a guy who was in Hitchcock's North by Northwest. I mean, this guy had quite the history in the industry, and of course, I love that scene where the guy comes in there, and there you and he are both soaking
Puffing
cigars. The
away.
guy doesn't know what to make of it.
Yeah, the amazing thing about James Mason was, and this was unique to any actor I've ever worked with, he literally just instantly became, there was no acting. He became the character. It was just, he just transmorphed, whatever the word is. He morphed into the character. It was just seamless. It was genius to watch. It was amazing. There was an energy in the room when he was acting that was just unbelievable. Really amazing. And a very generous actor, very generous to work with, very good guy. Everything that he appears to be, classy, intelligent, all of that stuff, just fully that.
Yeah. And of course, Kenneth Mars, I didn't realize until I watched the film prior to, actually, it was before I was supposed to interview you before. By the
Okay.
way, how is your friend?
You know what? My life is so crazy right now that I have to ask which friend, because this has been a crazy year. So everybody right now, I'll just say everybody right now is okay. It's been a very stressful year. There have been a lot of illnesses, some deaths, some passings, and including my little dog almost a year ago now in May. It's been a brutal year. It's been a lot of emotional stuff going on. I've been on like another planet for a year now. I've had to kind of come down, deal with real life, and then kind of go back into my whatever phase I'm in of caretaking or mourning or whatever. So it's 2023 up until now in 2024, just very, very challenging. I'm ready for the like,
Same here.
yeah, I'm ready for the fun times to begin again, frankly.
I can relate because I mean I lost a job in earlier 2023 where I got gaslit. So it's been hard. I
Yeah.
get exactly where you're coming from. No, I think it was really cool that your friend had somebody to go with him to I don't know whether it was a hospital or whatnot, but that because I we rescheduled this, which I was okay doing, you know.
Yeah.
I think it says a lot about you that that you have people's backs. I think that's a great quality to have.
Well, it's definitely a quality that I have. I'm the oldest I'm the oldest child, and I just heard that they have identified a syndrome called the eldest daughter syndrome, and I'm it to a T. And I'm glad that I am, but it's a lot sometimes.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mentioned Marty Feldman and James Mason. One of the things I did not realize, and I can't believe I didn't realize it for all the times I've seen this movie, I didn't realize that Kenneth Mars was playing two parts in this movie. And strangely enough, I knew he was playing the guy that was in the torture chair. Why I didn't quite recognize him as Mr. Crisp
Yeah.
was beyond me because he makes all those faces he makes in What's Up, Doc, you
Yes,
know?
yes, yes.
I love the scene where he's dangled over the side by his doesn't was
Yeah.
he as funny as he appears?
Yeah, he's funny too. I mean, nobody's as funny as Dabney Coleman. The bar is up here with him. So it's funny when somebody goes, "Oh, I have a great sense of humor. Oh, I'm funny." I'm like, "You're not Dabney Coleman funny." So I have a bias. Dabney's up here, and everybody else is somewhere down here. But Kenneth Mars he's up there high. He's funny. He's good. Ed Begley Jr. He's getting close to Dabney. Those two used to run around a lot together, and Beghead, as I call him, is brilliantly funny in person as I'm blanking now on the actor and Fred Willard. Fred Willard was
Oh, Fred was
crazy, crazy
hilarious.
smart and funny too. So those three, Fred Willard, Dabney, and Ed Begley Jr. in a room together, forget it. You're gonna pee your pants. Count on it.
The funniest thing I've seen Fred Willard do he was in the movie Moving Violations.
Mhm.
Was so hilarious in that when he was working with Wendy Jo Sperber.
Yes, yes. Well, Fred
He,
Willard was really, really a cool, classy guy and a very, very funny guy too. So those are the top three, and then people fall in line underneath those guys.
well, I remember when in Yellowbeard when James Mason gets betrayed and they string him upside down. I never I just for the first time noticed a scene where yourself and the other guy with you, you guys get restrained as well. I never noticed that before. So
Yeah,
you guys ended up having to go with them.
that's right. That's right. Be careful who you hang out with. You'll suffer consequences.
There you go. There
Yeah.
you go. Did you get to meet Cheech and Chong
I
or
didn't. I didn't.
no?
I've met Cheech. I've met them both independently, in life in general.
Hmm.
Tommy Chong is a bodybuilder and was hanging around at some gyms I was training with from time to time. And Cheech used to occasionally, I used to produce celebrity sports events, and Cheech came to a couple of my events. So I'd met them, but I didn't on that set. No.
Okay. And other funny people in that too. I gotta say, Peter Cook had some of the funniest lines. You know, like Mel Damkes laughed when I mentioned this line, but Peter Cook goes, "Reminds me of a mirage I once saw, if I saw it."
That dry wit, right? That very, very dry wit.
And Peter
Yeah.
Bull in his last movie, I mean, he came from Doctor Strangelove, and there he is playing the queen.
Mm-hmm.
Are you the beekeeper?
Yes.
Oh, I love it, you know. Mel said there was nobody at the premiere. Did you not go to the premiere?
Um, I I think I would remember that. I don't believe I did.
Yeah.
I might have been out of town, don't remember.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I liked you in this movie. You almost got voted, with the exception of Marty Feldman getting Dan voted in. You you, you got one vote by somebody got to that show.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was the
but
fun.
they had to send you away.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But you also worked with other comedians too. I mean, you were in 48 Hours. That was Eddie Murphy's first movie breakout after
Mhm.
Saturday Night Live. Any memories of that?
Well, yeah, lots of memories. I mean, first of all, Eddie Murphy wasn't a movie, like you just said, he was not a movie star at that point. He was the guy from Saturday Night Live.
Hmm.
And so he was actually there was one day on set where they said, "Oh, you're gonna have your wardrobe fitting. You need to go downtown to the location. Plus, Eddie Murphy really wants to meet you." And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I had a wardrobe fitting downtown. They were shooting a scene, and I met Eddie. Um, but that movie was that was a big deal. That little part I played in that movie, every actress in town was up for that role. That was a big deal when I got that. I really wanted to work with Walter Hill. There was a lot of chanting, praying, manifesting, whatever around that. And when I can remember this day, the day I got the call that I got that role, I was so excited to be working with Walter and the cast. Um, and it was really something. It was a big experience. Well, Yellowbeard because of James Mason and 48 Hours because of Walter Hill. So those were
It's funny you
professional
mentioned
experiences.
that. It's funny you mentioned that because there's going to be about 16 of the Warriors at Chiller, you know.
Uh-huh. David Harris is going. I heard that.
I had him on the show recently for the second time.
Okay.
Yep. And I've had Apache Ramos on 3 times. He's already made me an honorary orphan.
Okay.
And I got Iris Klein coming on Friday. She's not going to be there, but she's in the movie.
Okay. Yeah, I went to acting school with David Harris. We went to the American Academy together. We were at school chums and at Peter Weller, David Harris, who else was in our class? Julie Duffy, some other people. Anyway, we had a good little class there.
I had him on in 2017, and I had him on just last month again. I asked him the same question I asked Apache Ramo. What happened to the afro? He said the afro's gone.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to meeting him. I'm not going to be able to afford to get all those signatures, but I'm going to at least meet those two because they've done the show, you know.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
lo- yeah, there's going to be about 8 people there that's done my show, and I like to give back. So yeah, I like to meet the people that's done my show. So
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Yeah, Apache's already made an announcement that I was going to be there, like I'm anything special, but he's a great
Okay.
guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you get to work with Walter Hill with 48 Hours. What a follow-up to the Warriors, you know? And
Yes.
great to lead Eddie Murphy into Trading Places into Beverly Hills Cop, where he really went to stardom. I mean, 3 hits in a row like that. And easily to me, Eddie Murphy's got to be ranked as one of the top 3 most talented comedians to come out of Saturday
Yeah.
Night Live.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant work. And of course, you're in My Blue Heaven. I mean, Steve Martin, Rick Moranis. I mean, again, you're around a lot of funny people.
Well, it's funny because I kind of got typecast at a certain point in life, probably because of 48 hours, but into kind of the serious, I was either a hooker or the bad girl or something. But my whole thing, my whole life in my acting education, my acting background was comedy. That is what I did. That's really my thing. But then once you get typecast, you become whatever you're typecast as. So I'm actually I was doing a one-woman show before COVID hit, and I'm probably going to resurrect that because comedy is in my blood. I've written some comedy scripts that got knocked off and became big hits. I could name them, I won't, but three really mega. That tells me my comedic sense is spot on when people steal your script and go out and make a lot of money on it. So I'm working on one now that I'm determined not to have ripped off. And there's a great role for me in it. So we'll see what happens. But my comedic life isn't over. If anything, it's gotten a little snarkier and a little more fine-tuned. So we'll see where that goes.
Oh
A
yeah,
threat and a promise.
absolutely, you know. But you get to work with Steve Martin and Rick Moranis and that. And one movie you've done that I haven't seen yet, but I want to see it. And I've only come across it through researching you, but it looks like it's right up my alley. Party Line.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. Yeah, you have to see that. That is me at my skanky, low, slimiest criminal, most criminal. And I had a gas working with Leif Garrett. He's a super fun. Leif's right up there with the brilliant, funny guys, way up there. He's incredibly smart. Um, anyway, he and I played brother and sister murderers. So I won't tell you anything more about it, but yeah, you'll be afraid though. You'll be afraid to ever look at me again because I'm pretty bad in that movie.
Oh,
Oh, I'm bad. I'm
uh,
bad.
actually, I'm doing Chiller with Lisa, and I first saw her in class of 1984, and she plays a member of a gang in that. She's not friendly in that movie,
Exactly.
but
Well, I'm friendly in party line until I get you in my snare, and then I'm not that friendly. Anyway, you'll see.
I know Sean Weatherly is in that right
Hmm.
after Police Academy 3, so
Hmm.
so I
Hmm.
know she's in it because I've seen the pictures. But yes, I got to see that movie because it looks like it'd be right up my alley.
Yeah, it definitely would be. You do have to see that one for sure.
Now you had another couple that I wanted to bring up here too. Concrete Jungle, I wanted to bring up.
Concrete Jungle was, I had just landed in Hollywood out of modeling and acting school in New York. And I was asked to do the Concrete Jungle, and I was so excited. And yeah, so Concrete Jungle. Women, it's, women behind bars, your typical B women behind bars movie, but it was fun.
Well, I bring it up because I've interviewed, I'm still connected with Tom DeSimone.
Okay.
I had him and his brother Bob both on here together and then both on separate, you know.
Okay.
Yep. But I
We
had them on and they talked about that. And
we
yeah,
shot in
women.
jail. We shot down in a downtown. It was a jail. It was fun. I mean, it was method acting to the max because we were behind bars.
Now I'm going to assume you're behind bars because of Party Line.
Well, no. Well, Concrete Jungle precedes Party Line by quite a good amount of time, actually.
But they were predicting the future like Minority Report. They
Yes,
knew you were
yes,
going to be
yes.
trouble.
Good point. Good point. Good point. Good point. Yes, exactly.
You
Yes.
mentioned you like doing comedy. Now, what are some of your favorite comedies?
Um, oh boy, you're gonna ask me that. Um, oh God, of course I'm not gonna be able to think of anything. Uh,
No?
my comedic tastes run to a very dry, to a Dabney Coleman type wit. My comedic, my range of what I find I'm really picky about what I find funny. It's got to be really intelligent and really got a little edge to it and all that good stuff. So let me think. I don't know if I'm going to think of anything here while we're doing this, but I'm very picky about comedy. As much as I love it, I'm also very picky. It's people, there's nothing worse to me than being somewhere and people go, "Oh, she's done comedy, so I'm going to tell her a joke so she sees how funny I am." And I'm going to say, excuse me, but telling me a canned joke that your uncle told at his kid's bar mitzvah 10 years ago is not a sense of humor. That's repeating a horrible, corny joke. Comedy is a way of looking at things. It's a point of view. It's how you see the world. It's a whole different thing than some canned, corny joke. So that that should explain to you a little bit about what I think is funny comedy wise. I'll be with a group of people that go, "Oh, didn't you love something?" And I'm like, "No, actually, I didn't." That reminds me of like my high school drama class. That's the kind of comedy we did then.
Hmm.
No. So people got to step up their game with comedy, for me to really laugh out loud. But when I do, I do.
I like a variety of different comedies, like I really love slapstick, like Airplane, Um, and I even like more mellow stuff, like what you might see in a Woody Allen movie, for example. So I have, to me, it stretches, or stuff like the Farrelly brothers, did with like Kingpin, which also has some heart to it. So my love for comedy goes quite a bit deeper than that. So
Mine, I don't laugh at slapstick. I'm like the Three Stooges are not my thing, you know,
no,
and that's a thing, but it's not my thing. So again, I refer back to the Dabneys, the Ed Begley Juniors, the dry, sardonic wit that some people don't even get, frankly. So
I used to love slapstick, physical humor. I always loved the old pie in the face joke. You've
ugh,
never done that kind of thing?
I've done it. I've done it. I've done it. I can do it. It's just not my thing. It's just, to me, that's obvious and sophomoric and not funny. And people are going to hate me for that, but it's just, for me,
Oh,
that doesn't make me laugh. Makes me grin. It doesn't make me, I want to laugh out loud.
you've taken a pie in the face in a comedy before?
I've done, over the years, from theater things I've done, or in acting school, or sketches and improv. I was with an improv group in LA for years. We had a lot of funny people, including Sam Kinison, come out of that group. So, I can do it. It's just, that's not my thing,
I've had
personally.
I've had Sam Kinnison's brother come on here and tribute to him. Um, Sam was ahead of his time, breaking rules.
Yeah, he was. He was a buddy when we were in class together. That was sad, the whole Sam Kinison thing. But you look at, okay, so funny is somebody, I'll give you an example of some comics that I think are funny. George Carlin, just
Oh,
it's really it's intellectual, it's spot on, it's funny, it's pointed, it's edgy. I like, and he does some stupid stuff too, but there's a guy, Chris D'Elia. Chris is really funny. I think he's super funny. So anyway, comedy is a strange thing. I'm a comic, I'm a comedian, I write comedy, but my personal taste in comedy is a very narrow band. Like what I go, that's really excellent. That's a narrow little band. I'm a,
I love George Carlin.
yeah, well, he was, well, growing up, I loved Jonathan Winters and I loved George Carlin. Those were my influences comedically, I guess, really.
Absolutely. You've done a lot of television, and I can't get into all of them, but is there anything that stands out what you've done that was a highlight for you?
A highlight. I loved working with John Ritter on Three's Company.
Hmm. I've
Um,
heard great things about John Ritter.
you only will hear great things about him because he was a great guy and super funny and just, again, a generous, giving, so that's a highlight. Um, I can tell you a low light, which is I played a Nazi nurse on a Lois and Clark episode, and it was just strange. I won't name the actress who was the star of that series, but it doesn't take much to figure that out. But the male star, Dean Cain, was super, day one, I'm a guest star. He comes up, he says, "Hi, nice to have you on the set. Good to meet you, super guy." The entire week, the female star doesn't lock eyes with me. It's like I don't exist. I didn't have scenes with her, but just
I know who
nothing.
you're talking about.
Nothing like, "Hey, how," yeah, nothing. So I'm like, okay, whatever that's about. But, so that was, there are things you remember things like that. Um, you just remember the people who are really nice. And I like to talk about the generosity of spirit of certain actors. They're giving and they're there for you and they're great. And then there are people that are just like, okay, is this like a war zone? Or are you like the last woman standing? What's going on here? So you remember those things.
Yeah, I've heard complaints about that particular person. So,
Just not
yeah,
really, not warm and cuddly, not warm and cuddly.
nope, no. Do you have any charities that you're involved with that you would like to plug and promote on here?
Oh, well, that's very funny that you should mention that. Wow, what a perfect, and I hadn't thought about this. Well, I do a lot of work with, I'm doing an event, I'm appearing at an event at the end of April, beginning of May, which is one of these like military, giving back to the military, wounded warrior type things. I can't think of
Hmm.
the name of the event. I should give you the name of the event. I can't remember it. Um, anyway, so I'm doing that a couple days. There's a skeet shooting contest and there's a fishing contest, and I'm going to be the celeb saying hi and glad handing and participating. I've done a lot of wounded warrior type canine companion type things. I'm a military brat. I was born on a army base. And my dad was a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force. So that's very near and dear to my heart. I'm very patriotic, very conservative. I'm from the Midwest, let's face it. But currently I'm working, I've helped launch a project called the Autism Warrior Project. Very involved. I'm working with a company right now. From time to time, I cherry pick, because I straddle the world of showbiz and longevity and health and fitness. I invented fitness boot camps. I edited a women's fitness magazine. That's my passion, other than acting and performing, is fitness, health, longevity, keeping people alive. So I'm currently working with a company called Ginfinity Precision Medicine. They have biomarker tests and products that really work, as opposed to the blue smoke and mirrors that doesn't work out there in the world. And we found that one of the products, which is something called NAD, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, say it quickly, actually, the benefits of NAD, this particular product, completely overlay with the symptoms of autism. And in a study, they're getting amazing results with autistic children. So I've suddenly become very immersed in the world. By the way, today is Autism Awareness Day. So I'm very involved with the Autism Warrior Project and the study that's ongoing with that, getting great results for kids with autism, for the parents of kids with autism, which is that's a job. That's a job. Those parents have a job, and hats off to them. So between the military stuff and now the autism stuff, that's what I'm really immersed in right now.
Okay, absolutely. That's a great thing to be involved with. And where can people donate to that?
Well, the donating is interesting. Well, I'll tell you what I'll tell you what they can do. They can stay tuned on it. We're about with the Autism Warrior Project. We're about to, for every product that people buy for themselves, self-servingly and good on them for themselves, a jar will be given to a family with an autistic child. So we've had some families that couldn't afford to just add that to their budget. So we want to be sure every kid that wants to take this NAD can take it. So if people stay tuned on Ginfinity, spelled with a J at the beginning and an I at the end, not a Y, JINFINITI.com, there'll be, in the somewhat near future, there'll be information about a way that when they buy a jar of this product called Vitality Boost, a jar is given to a family that has an autistic child. So that's a really direct, obviously there's no money going anywhere other than to getting the product to the family. So that's kind of exciting.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I do a thing on here where I'll make a donation to the charity of the guest choice because I'm very involved in the whole mental health thing. And after we lost Robin Williams, something came out. Remember the ice bucket challenge when that was a big
Yes,
thing?
yes, yes.
Yeah, I just lost my dad to ALS, so
Oof.
yeah, he had it for 8 years. Well, one came out after Robin Williams left called the Doubtfire Face Challenge. And I've thrown this out there. Guests don't have to do it, but I make the offer. I'll donate to the charity of their choice if they'll do the Doubtfire Face Challenge for suicide and depression awareness. But I don't know if you want to do it or not because it involves taking a pie in the face.
Ah,
But you take a pie in the face, you nominate three people, and I was trying to get the industry involved. And I've had some people do this, including Leah Thompson did it.
Well, so what do you have to do it? I'll take a pie in the face.
Well, you just film yourself, and you mentioned it's a Doubt for Our Face challenge for suicide and depression awareness. And you if you want to mention where people can donate, usually it's the, in your case, the American Association for Suicide and Depression Awareness. Um, they can. And you take the pie in the face. You can either have somebody pie you or you can pie yourself. And you nominate three people. If you know three people in the industry that would be open to something like that, I'd be grateful. I know I had a situation recently where I donated to a person's charity and they didn't come through for me, and that was very upsetting. I don't
That's
mind helping some,
upsetting.
yeah, I don't mind helping somebody's charity. I get it. And I know people who have autistic kids, so I certainly get that. But I've had a few people that have gone sideways with me on that, and that's heartbreaking because I work as a cleaner, so I don't make money at the podcast, and so
Yeah, well, you know what, Greg, that just comes down to, we were talking about this with the actors on sets and people who are dicks and people who aren't, and people
mhm.
who are great off camera, people who are funny off camera, all those things. So that is one of my, actually, I have many pet peeves. I need to do a book of pet peeves, but it would be thick like an old family Bible. But one of my pet peeves is people who don't honor their word. And it's like, man, that's all you got, really? You're not
Mhm.
really, you're gonna really? So I really have a thing about that. Again, the military brat in me, the older child. Now I've got a tickle in my throat. So, I feel like I took a pie in the face. So remind me after the fact here, and I will definitely do the pie challenge for you.
Okay. Well, I
And
want you to send me info on whatever charity you want me to donate to, and I'll come through. I know the last person that gypped me on this, she said right in the interview, she said, I don't know how I could turn that down. And I made a donation to it on her webpage,
yep,
but I couldn't find a way where I could do it in her honor, but I mentioned it to her. So she said, asked if I would donate to one of the other to St. Jude's on there. So I did that, and she did get notification on that. And then she turns around and tells me that her agent doesn't think she should do this, or blah blah blah, and this and
whatever,
I was
whatever.
so angry with her.
Yeah, well, that's a person you just ixnay, you just don't have anything to do with them again, because if, you got to be able to be counted on in this world, you know?
Yeah.
And do I want whipped cream at my nose? No, but I'll do it because I said I would. So we'll discuss. It probably should be like a pie with whipped cream because that's a nice mess. I mean, like an apple pie, you just got some chunks of apple, who cares? Whipped cream, coconut cream pie is pretty gross. All right, we'll discuss. We'll talk about it offline, and I will tell you, I mean, the bottom line is this, because this is going to be a win-win. Your donation for my thing will be, you're going to buy yourself a product that's going to give you energy, mental focus, better sleep, less inflammation, blah, blah, blah. And in return, you're going to get that benefit, and some family that needs this for their kid is going to get a jar of it. So as this gets solidified a little further, I'll let you know, and I will give you the info.
You know what? Yes, send me the info. I would gladly do that. And
Okay.
I've always come through, and there's been other people that's come through too. So, and so yeah, if you're up to doing that, that would be great.
Okay. Well, let
You're
me just say, because your charity, overarching in my life, my mission is part of my mission in life. And I've been through some things here in the past couple of years. Our health system, we know, is pretty screwed up. I mean, everybody can pretty much, in Canada, here, whatever, maybe less in Canada, I don't know. the mental health system in America is broken.
Yeah.
It's broken. And part of my warrior stuff is for wounded warriors, PTSD, all that kind of stuff. So that's a big, the mental health is a big piece of that.
Yep.
Uh, I have a brother who committed suicide.
I'm sorry.
So you can imagine that that is very close to my heart.
I'm sorry to
So
hear
I'm,
that.
yeah, so I'm very, very happy to help you on your mission there, and anything I can ever do to enhance one person's mental health in any way is my mission. So I'm happy to help you with that. I'll take a freaking pie in the face. I won't let you down. We'll talk about it. You'll tell me how to do it perfectly for you, and we'll get it done.
I appreciate that. I appreciate. I'm sorry to hear about your brother. Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of people suffering in the world, and ultimately, uh, much of what we're seeing today, and I'm not saying anything that anybody hasn't already heard and doesn't know. A lot of what's going on in this country today, the killings, the shootings, is that people say guns, this, what, not. No, it's mental health. It's the state of mind that people are in that drive them to do what they're doing. And a lot of these people on the streets who are homeless and wandering the streets have families that would happily welcome them back into their homes. But those people get to a place where they will not listen, they do not hear, they do not want to be a part of that. So the mental health system is broken, and anything we can do to get it on track or slightly on track, I'm happy to help with.
Okay. Well, I'll come through for you. You send me the info and I'm more
Okay.
than happy.
All
More than
right.
happy. Yep.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yep. I know you have a web page. Would you like to promote that on here?
Well, you know what? You had to bring that up, didn't you? I just had a meeting today. I have my Instagram is Greta B Music, Gretab, the initial B, the word music, Greta B Music. And I'd love to have people go on there and interact with me. I'm very active on there. And Facebook, it's just my name, Greta Blackburn. My website is gretablackburn.com. And we just had a meeting today. It is so behind. We just today had a meeting going. We need to, because there was a period where everybody went, websites are obsolete. Don't spend any time on your websites. Well, we took it very literally. We did nothing for years, and it's old and outdated, and we're going to update it. So sometime soon, gretablackburn.com will be up and viable. But for now, really the best way for anybody to get in touch with me is Greta B Music on Instagram or Greta Blackburn. I have a bunch of accounts on Facebook. Find the one that there's a fan page, but just get on my personal page, Greta Blackburn. I'm very responsive. I get back to people. So that's the best way to get in touch with me.
Okay. Well, you know what? If you're going to be at Chiller, like I said, be happy to. I know Lisa would love to meet you, you know. I'll be at her table. And like I said, I'd love to. You're more than welcome to come to dinner. It my treat. I don't
I
mind
love
doing.
it, man. I'm always up for somebody buying me dinner. Let's do it. I'll let you
Yep.
know if I'm in town. I'm so busy right now. I'll tell you between these, I'm doing these charity appearance, these events.
Hmm.
And I'm running around the country talking about Ginfinity and their amazing products. So I'm out blabbing all the time. I'm in Vegas, I'm in Dallas, I'm in San Antonio, I'm back in Dallas, I'm in LA, I'm all over the place. But if I'm in town here on the East Coast, which is where I live,
Yep.
I'll be there and we'll say hi and we'll do that.
I would love to. That would
Perfect.
make this even better, you know. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe I'll wait and do the pie challenge there. We'll see. Could be fun.
That
Could
could
get some
be
other I could bring a couple extra pies. Maybe we'll get somebody right then and there to do it. We'll see. If I haven't done it by then, I could do it then. Okay.
okay.
All
Okay.
right.
I,
Perfect.
it's unfortunate that Dabney's not going to make it though, but I might see. I don't know. I might see if he might be up to coming on the show here.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm calling him tonight. I'm gonna find out why they're not letting him come. But anyway, we'll stay in touch and see what's going on.
Yeah, because he is a terrific actor. I had him on my list as somebody to meet there. So
Yeah.
yeah. But you know what? I'd gladly meet you. That'd be awesome.
Yay.
Yeah. Um, so I'll leave that open for you. Greta, it was wonderful having you come on here today. I looked so much forward to this. And boy, you look so classy. I love the yellow, the earrings, and the
Yeah,
cowboy hat, and
I
the
got the
beautiful
cowboy.
hair.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm glad we listen, because we had some fits and starts because of my crazy life and my crazy schedule, but we made it happen and that's all that counts. And thank you so much. We'll do it again sometime.
I would be honored to have you come back on, or maybe by then I'll have seen Party Line, and I'll
Yeah, well,
say,
oh yeah, that's a whole conversation. So you need to see that movie. Yes.
I'll
Very good.
say, I'll say, Greta was it was the other person bringing her down. She's a sweet lady.
Yeah. You will never say that again after seeing that movie. Anyway, so nice meeting you. Thank you so much. Stay healthy, stay sane, all those good things.
Before I let you go, would you mind doing a plug for my show?
No, no, yes. I mean, no, I wouldn't mind. What do you want me to say?
Just state your name and say you're listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
Hey, this is Greta Blackburn, and you are listening to Greg Gilbert on Python's Paradise.
Absolutely. You're a class act. You're a wonderful person. And I thank you so much for allowing me the honor today. And I hope to see you at Chiller.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Greg. Have a goodie.
You take care and God bless.
You too. Talk to you soon.
Bye bye.